Hello and welcome to another update about Cardano. In this video, I want to take a closer look at the Elliott Wave method and where we are currently in the Elliott Wave cycle. If you don't know what the Elliott Wave method is, it basically describes, or is based on a theory that describes that charts always move in repetitive patterns, and in general, in a trend, you have 5 wave cycles, whereas waves 1, 3, and 5 move to the upside, and waves 2 and 4 are corrective waves. Well, wave 2, 1, 3, and 5 don't necessarily move to the upside, but they move in the direction of the trend. The trend is currently towards the upside. So in the case of Cardano, the waves 1, 3, and 5 move towards the upside, and the waves 2 and 4 move to the downside. They are corrective waves. So in my opinion, and I've looked at it in really a lot of detail now. So Cardano is currently, in my opinion, still in the primary wave 3. So there is another wave 3 which is currently forming, and wave 4 and 5 are still to come. So we are currently, and that is on a primary level. So what is a bit complicated to understand with Elliott Wave method is that there are lower cycles and different, you start with a super cycle, then you've got a primary cycles and smaller sub-cycles and so on. So I won't make it too complicated. I really try just to present you where I think we are at the moment and what that might mean for the price. So we are, as I said, in my opinion, at some point in April, we started to form that primary wave 1. We then came down to a wave 2. And since then we have been forming wave 3, which is not completed yet, because if we would say that this was wave 3, primary wave 3, then wave 4 would have come back into the territory of wave 1, which according to Elliott Wave rules is not possible. That's not allowed, which means that wave 3 has not been completed yet. And that adds up if we go into the smaller scale. But let's just hold on here for a minute. This is, by the way, the daily chart. What that means is that we haven't seen wave 3 yet, obviously, or it's not completed yet. It's not formed yet, which means that waves 4 and 5 are still to come, which means that much higher prices can be expected. And in the next few months, definitely, I expect that wave 3 will be completed. And I personally give that a price target of for at least 450. I did say that in a previous video, and that is only wave 3, but then wave 4 is still to come. And in wave 4, I mean, people have asked me, do we come back into maybe, in the next move down, do we come back into a range of $2? Well, certainly not in wave 4, I don't think so. And then wave 5 will be further up. But it's pure speculation where the prices of wave 4 and 5 will be, because you need to see how far up wave 3 will go. I did say 450 at least, but only as soon as these are formed, then you can calculate based on the Elliott Wave method what the price targets for waves 4 and 5 will be. So this is sort of the medium term that I expect to play out in the next few months. So let's go back into the smaller term or smaller time scale, in the lower time scale, to show you where I think we are there. So I've zoomed in now. It's still the daily chart, but what we can see here, so on a lower level of waves, I would say, we formed the C, which is the end of a corrective wave here in June. And then we started to form a new level 1, and that's on a smaller scale. Yeah, so don't get confused with the main primary level wave 3 that I just mentioned, but you can clearly see how this is playing out, where we then had a smaller sub wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which has now been completed. So we are currently coming down the flash crash. We came down in an A, B, and that is why I expect that the C is normally lower than A, or has to be lower than A, that we are coming down once more in a corrective wave C before we move to the upside. Now, this is one scenario, and based on, just to have to draw these Fibonacci levels here with a high of $3.10, it could be already that we've seen the correction already here. So then that would not be A, that would have been a C. This could be because based on Elliott Wave method theory, it would already be enough that in a corrective move, we come back to the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level, which we did. But in an ideal scenario, yeah, you would actually want to come back to this level, which is at 182. Yeah, So we haven't come back to that level yet, but I did say it could already be enough that we came back to this level, and that we now can, because we were already here, that we are now already moving on and continue the way within, towards the trend. It could, that is just one scenario. I still think, from what we expect, basically textbook like, it would mean that we should come back once more in this corrective wave C to that 182 level. But it could already be that we've seen that already. But my reason to believe that we might come back once more is because we haven't seen, you haven't identified, we can't see the creation of the forming of a new impulsive move to the upside yet. We're still moving sideways, and we've came from that point of view, we came back in an A, have seen the B already, and we'll now come back once more in a C. But there's just the first scenario. The second one is that we from here already take off. Now that wave 5, that sub wave 5, which has been completed, marks also the beginning of a new wave 1 on another level. So that wave 1 would have started here, would come down, which would then be the 2 here, and from then we are starting the 3 to the upside. Yes, but that all is part of the larger scale 3, which I've just shown you. On a larger scale, the primary one, we've seen a 1 here, a 2 here, and all of this is part of the primary wave 3. So all of that leads me to believe, we are not entering a bear market yet. Some people already talk about that. Cardano is on its way up. It doesn't matter if we come back once more to the 180. That's my worst case scenario. I've been saying that for a while. And from then, that's, latest at that point, we will continue to break out to the upside. To see a real breakout, we need to get above $3.10, and then we can get to at least $4.50. That's my target. And that is pretty much where I believe, after a lot of going through, a lot of recounting, where we are currently with regards to, Cardano's positioning in the Elliott Wave cycles. I know other YouTubers count differently, and there's a lot of, it sort of depends. Some people count that way, some people count that way. I've gone through it a lot of times now, and I think that is fairly accurate here. Also taking into account Fibonacci retracement levels, which is quite important when it comes to the Elliott Wave method. So I'm going to track that going forward. If we don't come back once more to 180, then that scenario gets invalidated, and then this here is already the beginning of a new move to the upside. So it's exciting times ahead. So let's see. Let me know if you want to see more videos about Elliott Wave method. And yeah, hopefully you have another great a great rest of the weekend, and hope to see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.